Question, spending review in the name of Assembly Member Twycross.
Thank you. I think that low-income Londoners have benefited in several ways. I think that the ambition to build more housing is extremely important in the spending review. That's something that we've discussed a great deal already. The ambition greatly to expand the number of apprentices to get young people into jobs. The huge the general success of apprenticeships in getting young people into employment is something that we've observed in London. Expand that campaign has got to be good for our kids. And the spending review was also good for transport. We have all the big infrastructure projects going, and we maintain a massive programme of investment in London. So I think that the city is in very, very good shape at the moment, but obviously there's a huge amount of work to do, and I think that the CSR will help us to do it.
The truth is, however, that despite the hype, which actually would have been worthy of yourself, the Chancellor's apparent U-turn on tax credits hides the fact that low-income working households in London on the living wage will be as much as £3,060 a year worse off by 2020. So, in the media, you'd previously criticised the Chancellor's proposed cuts to tax credits, obviously, but then defended them here and voted for them in Parliament. So, do you support his cuts to incomes of low-income working households through actually just shifting the cuts to universal credit, or do you support them, or are you lobbying to make sure that low-income Londoners aren't affected by the welfare cuts coming forward?
Got to do. Fiona, I think even you would accept we've got to do something to reform
these are working households,
a welfare system that has substantial poverty traps, substantial penalties for work. The move towards universal credit has got to be right, and that is something that I certainly
but the move
support. I think the ambition to mitigate the impact of that in the short term and the medium term was entirely correct. And don't forget the huge benefits of paying people properly. I think
this is going to leave people on the national living wage, the so-called national living wage. This is still going to leave working households up to just over £3,000 a year worse off. So what are you doing to raise it to the Chancellor to highlight the impact this is going to have on Londoners' income?
I think, to be fair, there was a very considerable change from the budget to the CSR, and you saw the change in the handling of the tax credits reforms.
But it's deferring the pain.
It's deferring the pain. And what I want to see is a much greater expansion of the London living wage, which is something, in addition to universal credit, a much greater expansion of the London living wage, which is something that is gaining ground. I had a great meeting yesterday with Citizens UK, with London citizens, and there are now well over 2,000 firms across the country.
But it's the number of people who are paid in, not the number of firms. And we come back to this point again. What will you do in the last few months of your time in office as Mayor to make sure that Londoners are not left worse off by this Chancellor and his cuts?
We're doing a great deal to promote the London living wage and to ensure that Londoners get the benefit of the huge boom in employment that we are seeing in this city, and that when they get into work, as they are at a rate that we haven't seen for the last 25 years, unemployment is low, employment is at record high.
I want to see. He's not actually addressing the issue of what the Chancellor is doing in terms of welfare. I think there's absolutely no point.
I think that everybody will note that Labour has now boxed themselves into the position where they oppose any kind of change to the welfare system at all.
No,
they are the party of welfare. They are the party of no change. They won't help people out of poverty traps. They won't help people into work. They have absolutely no interest in changing or improving the system. They've been exposed as congestion charge taxers and welfareists. That's who they are.
Mr. Mayor, not taking this seriously.
Can I